What is going on? So today I'm going to be going over my TA on my currencies, indices and commodities, and then compiling them together, formulating a list, which I'm going to go over again in the evening. And then tomorrow I'm going to release another video where I finalise it and then release it, as well as document it using Notion from TradingView. So that's basically the process. So enjoy the video. Take care.
Morning guys, so we are here now doing a Saturday market breakdown for next week. So I'll be breaking down my pairs and then preparing them for a reanalysis 2 more times. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to, just because yesterday I wasn't feeling my best, obviously I had a lot of stuff I was doing. I did the data collection, a whole bunch of other stuff, and also I wanted to make sure I was in the most freshest mindset possible. So one of the things that I am doing now is I'm just going to go through these pairs. So with the DXY mainly, I was looking at this, and essentially I am still looking for longs, but I am aware that, you know, there's possibilities for price to just tap into one of these areas down here. And then if we get something like that, we could essentially just maybe even tap in for a double bottom before we move higher, which is always a possibility. We could just come in down here and then move higher. This angle gets evolved ever so slightly. That still becomes a part of the corrective wave. And then boom, we move up. So there's still a few variables, but right now there's no immediate necessary need to evolve that. We can just leave it like this and understand that we have a 1-2 and we're potentially leading up into this area. You can also probably use this angle. There's nowhere to say it's right or wrong. I would just say that because we already have so much already there, it's probably better we evolve it now. It's not necessary to have that. You could have this bit. Honestly, it wouldn't really matter as much. I just prefer this because it's the 2 most relevant points. And then we've got that middle section in there, which technically doesn't need to be represented this anymore, but for visuals it's there. Next point, I'm looking at JP225. I seem to have removed the S&P, which I'll have on here, but I'll just quickly do it here. So S&P 500 is very plain and simple. I am looking at this being in the high value area. We know that it's an extremely bullish pair, so I am looking to see if we can push back in to the downside, create continuation and sell off. Otherwise, this could form as a more complex structure, maybe even an expanding to continue. 2-touch expanding isn't really my preferred entry, so if this comes in for 3, great. If not, it is what it is. Otherwise, this would just be more so a continuation there, which you'd play to take a break even if it taps in and sells back off, or it just continues and then just creates another bullish run. And then the next thing you know, you were essentially looking for the short, and then that happened. So this is just something to be aware of when you are trading this particular pair. It becomes extremely bullish at times. Now the JP225 is the next one, which I think is extremely key, because we were looking at shorts, but we have to always understand that there is room for longs, but because of how unsustainable this price action is, a big sell-off could happen as well. Probably not so dramatic, but like there, then we could see something like that formulate. So of course that would be over a period of time, and there would be more than enough time to get involved on something like that. But I think it's more important that we don't rush into something that could formulate as more risk. So just moving on to the line chart really quickly, we can see that we are squeezing to the upside. It's unnecessary right now for us to be trying to jump into a trade here. From personal experience, I think you can just get caught in and out. So I would say the best things to do is just wait for the JP225 to maybe even do this, right? And then, you know, we can see it clear A to B to movement. And then if it doesn't do that, and let's just say, for example, you had all of that, and then suddenly we had the drop off from there, and you create continuation in here, you know, you could still, like I said, A to B movement. So that's how I would be looking to actually take it if I was going to, but right now I just see it as a very corrective squeeze, kind of like the DXY. It's very up and down. Right now we're in a very corrective, accumulative state where I'd just be very careful. So jumping straight into the Forex pairs now, starting with Aussie CAD. Aussie CAD is looking decent. Not the best area to sell off from, but still very valid because, you know, that's our sharp point. We sold off, pullbacks, didn't quite tap into it, so call it a near miss. And then with that near miss, we also missed it again. We actually took out this high though, which is nice. And then we came out and we tapped into it over here, which is cool. So now we can actually look for that. There is the possibility for the head and shoulders as well, which I will also be aware of. But what I would be more preferred off is something like that, and we sell off. Maybe not that large, but you know, in representation. So we'll have a little look on the lower time frames now. So going to the 4, we can see that we have, yeah, this is good. So I'm going to mark this one on. So what I tend to do actually, sometimes I get a bit carried away and just want to start analyzing things, but I tend to just mark on the most important ones. If you've watched previous videos, then you know the deal. I've covered this multiple times. So yeah, what I do is just mark on the ones that I think have something there, and then I move on. So Swiss, Aussie Swiss, not really. This one's interesting. Similar entry was given just from a different area. Wow, that's pretty cool. Wow, that did play out. I must have analysed it but not taken it. I analysed it at this point here, which is interesting. I think I took this bit of price from someone else, and I was looking at it like that, and then I must have just stopped looking at it. Yeah, Tuesday, and then the entry came and sold. Cool. Well, I think definitely happy that I didn't just jump into something anyway, because that wasn't the most cleanest. But this is another situation where if you were waiting for a head and shoulders, it would have been too much. So if you did take it, you would have probably gone with protection a little bit more above. I don't really see that being the best entry, but anyway, let's see. And yeah, 40-ish pips, probably could have got away with 35 to be honest, and you'd be running, if you didn't see the head and shoulders and you took it and you went 17, 18, probably a bit more, yeah, about 20 you would round up to. You'd be running about 5.43, so that's not bad as well for a decently small size in and out position. So pretty interesting there. Aussie New Zealand definitely has some context to it now because we've had the momentum. We're looking at it on the 4. Yeah, definitely. I really do like this one. So what I will be looking for is, and we have to also bear in mind we can still come back up. Only reason being is we had the high, we had the miss, we had the next miss, which actually also missed this one. So if it was equal to, it would make sense if this could continue. So I'd just be very careful with taking any trades, because yes, it can sell, but at the same time it could just make its way back up, and then next thing you know, it's up here, and then we might see some sort of sell or continuation to the upside. But just be on your A game, because things could formulate like so. Maybe a bit low. Stuff like that would be good. Yeah, I would like that. That would still look pretty good. It's not really a typical middle section as well, so we'll have to wait and see. Zooming out again. Yeah, interesting. I think I would leave this one actually, just because of that variable. That even if I was to get a continuation, I don't think it would be the one. Could I manage it? Probably. Maybe. I'll come back, I'll look at it again. Let's compare it to what else we have. AJ. Closing up that gap. Yeah, we'll wait for that. Best thing to do here is just click that, set an alert, and create. So essentially it's on the button here. It's this blue one. You click that, it sets the alert. Now depending on your package, I don't know how many alerts you can set, but pretty much unlimited. I won't put this on watch. I'll mark it as blue because it's nearing up, so it could shape up next week. Not this week, coming up, the one after. But if it does, for some reason, tap into it, we'd have to be on our A game. Probably won't be looking for an entry immediately. We want to wait for that proper sequence, but we'll have to wait and see. Aussie US dollar, similar to what we're seeing with the DXY. It's not very confirmed in the sense of its direction just yet. Overall, because of how it's pulling back, this has become a little bit more choppy, so I will be waiting for that choppiness to slow down. Looks good on the daily though, for sure. I just need to wait for a little bit more confirmation. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of how it's pulled out. It feels more now of a channel to the upside. Just have to be very careful with these sort of structures. Yeah, I'll be very careful with that because this could go counter, could go long. Opening up that neutrality now. I'd like to see some real commitment to the downside and then see this as the overall structure. That's what I want to see. That, okay, we have that. We get continuation in here. Very deliberate, clear. And then boom, drops. Gives us the next flag, drops. And then just, you know, that's what we want ideally, but do we get it? Will we get it? We have to wait and see. Maybe. I'll keep it on pink for now. CAD Swiss, not interested in that for sure. It does have room to go higher, just not in it. CJ is tapping into it, but the way it's tapped into it is not really my preferred. I mean, look, you've got that. You've got a 1, 2, 3. It feels a little bit too squeezed. It feels like I might be forcing something at this point because psychologically, that doesn't look like my reversal. That doesn't look like a structure. So I'm going to wait for that. I'm going to leave that one off actually. Happy to wait on it because, yeah, okay, fine. If we do get a drop and that shapes up next week, that's definitely a possibility into that low as a minimum, and then seeing it kind of just create the next flags and go. But I would be a little bit weary with this, and then going back to the monthly, you know, there is that gap there as well, which is huge, but we could still make our way slowly and get there. So be very, very sharp with what could possibly happen, because this doesn't look like reversal territory to me right now. Swiss yen, phenomenal pair, to be honest. I love it. It's a very strong. It's been very, very, very strong, to be honest. In fact, over time, I've learned to realize that this is a really nice yen pair to trade. I think I'm saying this about 2.5 years ago. I probably would have hated this pair, but right now, love it. Let's see. Yeah, we're good. We're good. Okay. Let's have a little look at this. So we've got Euro Aussie. EA looks very nice. Is that straight away? EC looks very nice. EA looks nice because range pushed up. It doesn't really matter. But we've broken out of this corrective channel. This corrective channel is broken, and we just want to see a follow through. If we can get a follow through, we know that we're good for sequence and we can get positioned for continuations to the downside. EuroCAD, likewise actually. EuroCAD is nice. The only thing is we're playing a trend line opposed to a value area as such. Not to say that these are not very good, but sometimes it's nicer if it taps into something. So I would wait for a little bit more. Now there's a riskier trade here. There's a riskier trade right there where I think personally we would wait to see if we get that tight flag continuation drop. This would shape up early hours, which isn't necessarily the worst thing. It'd shape up for London session, and then London session we'd get a sell, and then we'd be in for the next one. So that's one that I think if we are looking for a trade, we should be more on our we should be more open towards the possibility of a market open trade. Regardless, the lower risk trades would be down here, so you'd wait for these trades. The reason being is this is still risky. This can develop into a lot. This can pretty much do that. Continue higher. All right, so we're not in for the shorts just yet, but we are looking for the shorts. Euro CAD, Euro Swiss, Euro Swiss. Euro Swiss doesn't look too bad. That rally looks nice. On the fall, if you are going to take it, I'd say be more sharp for this, and I'd look for something I think maybe not exactly this, but within that range where you get this, and then price is basically created very key importance. One top, two tops, one near miss, filled it, caught people out on the wrong side down here, and then pull back in. Right? How would you position yourself? Well, you'd put your entry here, stop loss below whatever down there, and then you'd play that run and then continue with it to that level there. Risk reward, see, stop placement's actually pretty large on these ones as well. You could say maybe even 28 if you're lucky, 40 if you're not, but then still, even so, you get well protected, and then you're in for the run, which goes down to 54. Now, as you get to these areas, a lot can happen. That's the thing you have to be very wary of as well. Like, yeah, okay, sometimes it can just really rally, but sometimes it can do this, come off, give you fake sell-offs. And we look for something like that, and then we have to just kind of make through it, where we're like, okay, well, price got quite messy, a lot of people got caught out here, they start putting the pair off. What happens was we ended with a structure in there as well, and then did it make sense of the sell-off? Yeah, it did. So keep that in mind. I don't think the sell-off is coming just yet. I think this is just looking to just really move, get a bit something over here, and then maybe just even move. But we haven't had any bigger continuations yet, so do you really want to be stuck in something like this where a bigger continuation can happen? Going into the next one, let's have a little look here. So what do we have? Euro GBP. Interesting. We are double bottoming out here. Filling that. We're just about to tap into it. Most likely, knowing this particular pair, and I'll just quickly demonstrate that, we're more likely going to end up closing out down here and coming back in. So this would be an insurance entry play to go to the upside, and we'd stick with that regardless of what happens, because we want to see it really close down here and pull back in. Let's have a little look there. Yeah, good, cool. So that's basically it, and we then look to play this range into pretty much all of that. To be honest, that would be your range. But first point, you'd have multiple areas where price could really start pulling back and stuff. So I'd just be aware of those three areas. Those are my key areas I'd be more aware of. But really and truly, I think we'd have to wait and see. This overall has been corrective as well. So not my type of structure at all. Would I be surprised if we tapped into that? No, not at all. I'm just going to put on one line. That's all I really need, and then forecast my entry. Sells though, Sales have been quite nice. We actually just got one as well. E.g., you know, this is the thing. Sometimes on a week, I will not put the pair on. And this is a bit of wick cropping right here, right? That would require that wick cropping, because you can see it for what it is there, but then when you start doing something like this, or you start using that wick, it starts making the structure irregular. There we go. So you can see it on the 4 as well, which is even nicer. Oh, mate, that's brilliant. And then I think even so on the 15 there was actually a refinement in there as well. Let's see if that was a retrace. Yeah, you could have done that all. Yeah, I say 15's good. You'd go right here. Right there. You put this just above. You'd be fine with, well, you could go 8. I don't know what the spreads are, but you could have gone 8. And then you trade that into the low for about 4%. Not the best in the world. Higher up in the run would have been way better, because lower in the run can become more complex, but that would have been the trade there. Interesting. Am I going to have this on watch? Most probably not. No. Let's go to the next one. Alright, quick break and I'll come back. That break was pretty quick. So yeah, you're in New Zealand, and let's continue. So yeah, EG, we said we wouldn't look for anything, but if you were going to look for EG, you'd look for the suppression of all of that, and then giving you something probably down here. I wouldn't be surprised with something like that, and it drops. So you'd look for that trade down here. If you got it, it'd be acting as the hover, playing off all of the momentum of all of that, and then just playing that straight into the low. And then you could probably get a refined entry in there for, yeah, you'd have to go 8 pips could suffice, to be honest. 7 at its most biggest push. I think it's just not worth it. I feel like you're forced, your hand is forced to take a tight stop, and with all of the things considered, it's not worth it. Okay. We're coming into this low, and then we have that low down there. Once again, I think one to be patient with. It's a bit of a difficult one, to be honest. I think this has evolved now, and it's become something a little bit more complex. I don't like that at all. Yeah, I'll wait. I'll wait for this one. I'm not going to touch that. We are shorting, but for how long we don't really know what we're shorting into. We're shorting into that low first. And if we did, for some reason, just not go from there, we came back up into this area here, and then we sold. Gave us an entry in there, we went. Cool. I'll refine that on the 1. Then see it like that, which is cool. Playing off the back end of this, tapping it in there, strong rejection, continuation, and then short. And that's how I would look to take EN. Once again, I'd have to wick crop through this. Bit of wick cropping going on this week, isn't it? Yeah, I like that. Actually, it's decent. That's really, really nice. So keeping it very simple, wait for price to break, tap into that, push back in, give me continuation. And take that short. Wow. Yeah, you'd have your override here for sure as well. So you'd look for the same thing at the override, like that. But The one that actually looks really nice is the expanding completion without the subjectiveness. Go back to the 4. Yeah, I do like this one a lot. Yep. Let's wait and see what happens there. It's still quite subjective. I'll reanalyze that for sure. Just is what it is. Okay, Euro USD is just messing about as well. Similar to AU, where we can kind of just see it potentially going long. We have to kind of see the same here, where what's actually happened. Well, we just squeeze it now. And that doesn't look like your typical sell at all. Either we do this, and we push up, tap into that, and then for some reason we sell. Cool. We can then look at that as a potential, but I think more than likely what we're going to see now is accumulation, drop, mess, and it has been quite messy. So I'm gonna make an informative decision on this one and just stay out of it. I think staying out of it is probably the best bet right now, so I'm going to stay out of EU and just let that do its thing. I'll set an alert up here in case, I mean I'll probably see it anyway regardless and know it's rallying, but I don't think that's something. And then if we start breaking these lows, I still won't be too interested right now, because just overall of how it's starting, it's not my typical sequence, it's not the best for EU, it just needs time. EJ, I think it's just going long. It's just pushing higher and higher. Can you take advantage of it? Yeah, but you risk something like this. You know, let's say you go long in here, and then it could just develop. It could do that. A lot of things can happen, and then this doesn't become the sell. This just becomes more continuation to the upside. But in the state of a channel, so many things could happen, really and truly. I wouldn't want somebody to get caught up in this nonsense, so I'd say wait for this to be tapped into clearly, and then kind of reevaluate. But if you get a clear enough trade in there, fair play. Like, I wouldn't say don't take it, I'd just say understand the risks that come with it. And GA, interesting. Yeah, larger flag territory for me. I would be waiting for a 3 touch. And then I'd look to play something like that. Tricky. It's a tricky one, to be fair. I would be a little bit more patient with that one for sure. Yeah, I'll leave that one off a week. I think that could shape up by Thursday, maybe. May possibly be worth it, but it could also just push higher as well at the same time. Neutrally, it's in a very neutral area. Not really worth it, in my opinion. Still reevaluate it though. Okay. This one is, I'll take that piece of analysis though, I like that. Stick that right there. Change daily. Yep, so we filled this gap, which is nice. And yeah, we just need to now see rejection. We did push through it, which is nice. And if I go here, yeah, that looks good. We've even completed on that. Go down to the daily. Yeah, this is really nice. This has a really nice potential. And then as an added bonus, how did we finish? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, GC is solid. Love that. GC. Now with the other Swiss pairs going long, I wouldn't want to get involved on that for sure. Gonna leave that one out. Oops, that one I'm definitely gonna mark up as green. Yeah, GN, I'll leave that one out for now. Okay, this one's interesting. We've tapped in. Let's remove that quick. Let's go to the monthly. Oh, know it. There is possibilities though. I wouldn't cross that off completely. I think out of the yen pairs, this is probably one of the ones I do like. Yeah, just looking for, it taps in, comes out. Get something like that. Momentum, please. Yep, I'm happy with that, and I'll take that any day. GU. I think I'm going to leave GU. Likewise with the other ones, it does look quite bullish. Could I entertain the long? Yeah, I mean, out of all of them, the long on G looks better. I would look for. Yeah, we don't really know at this point. I wouldn't be forcing anything at all. This could develop into so much. Yeah, wouldn't want to waste my time too much with that. Next one, a New Zealand CAD. It's approaching. I'm going to set an alert up here for the short. Not interested in the long right now anyway. Yeah, I'll wait for the short, see what happens. So that probably won't shape up until next month, but will be good. Interesting one to know. New Zealand Swiss, not going to touch that. Likewise with other Swiss pairs, but the longs on it. If you were going to go long, I would use. That seems very deliberate. Yeah, this is cool. If I did come in, could get long in there. I think out of all the Swiss pairs, I do like this one more. There is that low there, but we'd have to see it later. That's cool. I like that. But position wise, yeah, nah, forget that. What am I looking at? You know, it's easy to fall in love with something there. Wait, let's see what happens. Something like this would be more preferred for me. I'd like that, to be honest. If I was going to take a long, I'd go for that on Swiss yen over what I just kind of zoomed in and checked over there. Happens, you know. Sometimes you look at things on a smaller degree and you end up thinking it's much nicer than it is. I am going to look for shorts on NJ. I'm just going to mark it on there. Weekly, I think the monthly is probably going to. So we are coming into the next AOI, area of interest, which is here, and I'll set that on there. So we'll get alerted. Probably going to tag it, so probably wouldn't worry about this, to be fair. I'm going to leave that. I'm going to wait for that to be tagged and then come back and look at it later. But how I'm going to look at it is obviously wait for it to push through, push back in, create continuation and go. But for now, just leave it. New Zealand US dollar. Yeah, I'm not touching that. Just accumulation again. Suppression, and then that would just burst to the upside. That would look good. Yeah, that's interesting. We'll have to leave that one as it is though. It's not really my typical entry compared to the rest of them, but that looks good for longs. It's actually the nicest one. If I was to pick one, this would be it. even it being an expanding just tells you how messy things are right now. Yeah, I'll leave it like that. I'll come back and look at it later. USD CAD. Now USD CAD is looking like a short, but with the DXY being a bit subjective, I wouldn't be surprised because this does look like a long, and the higher time frame does triumph at the lower time frame, so I'm going to still wait for longs, really and truly, but not going to be on watch this week. USD Swiss, better for the long, to be honest, but likewise with the DXY, not going to touch that. UJ, yeah, still going. Could probably get now, not with the DXY being the way it is, so yeah, this is interesting. I've been watching this from that low, and it's looking a bit promising, to be honest. Yeah, that looks promising. I don't know if you guys can see this. So you've got that low there, you've got it coming into it here, it's just chilling in there, and then you could potentially look for longs in there on the 15. You've got your section here. Yeah, it's interesting. It's got context to it. I'd look for basically it to tap in here, push back in. Don't need the insurance entry, but I'd go for it just for the extra protection. If you get it, you're good for the long. Yeah, cool. Anyway, I won't be having that on watch for sure. So this basically summarizes the first step. And yeah, I'll be jumping in and continuing with it later this evening. If I do manage to record it, I will, and I'll update it. But for now, just going to finish this video off with commodities and indices, and then we should be good to go. So I'm pretty sharp with these because I've been analyzing them quite a bit. Yeah, that looks very good for the short. We'll have to wait and see. No. Wow. That's good. Natural gas, shorts. Yep. And yeah, I think that's it for natural gas. WTI for the longs. I already put this on before. It's a bit of a counterplay, but it's possible. Palladium, I'm not looking at palladium. Platinum. Yeah, not looking at platinum. Natural gas though looks good. Let's have a little keep an eye on that. So anyway guys, that summarizes it for today, and hopefully this evening I might do the second part. Probably won't be recorded because I'll be doing it by the beach, but nevertheless I will record the bit tomorrow and then summarize it. So yeah, have a good one guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.